So, yes, I know that's a little provocative, but that's just the truth of the substance of what she said with her own words.
It's not provocative.
And the reality is,
it's not provocative.
When Hakeem Jeffries...
It's perverse.
And one of my childhood memories that is deeply embedded in that my own ancestors and living family members have been brutalized.
The conversation about what's become a pathway to success for so many people in this country, and that is just pure anti-blackness. And I think one of the best examples we can find right now is that of Vivek Ramaswamy, the Republican candidate for president, who has built his reputation on the culture wars. He's not only attacking the black community, he's attacking the LGBTQIA community. And you will notice there's never but one breath separation between anti-blackness and homophobia. You would notice that's the case with all conservatives. But I want to play this clip of Vivek Ramaswamy as he's talking to Chris Cuomo. And they're talking specifically about this ridiculous accusation and projection that calls Boston representative from Boston, Massachusetts, Ayanna Pressley, calls her the grand wizard of the KKK, the modern KKK. Listen in.
If that is the thing, that's why I didn't get the Pressley comment about the KKK. First of all, you know that you do not analogize a black member of Congress or a black anybody to a member of the KKK. You know that. And, you know, I heard you say on the show yesterday, oh, but let's be intellectually honest. Okay, let's be intellectually honest. You know,
let's be intellectually honest. Hakeem Jeffries,
but you know that's not a
Hakeem
place
Jeffries
to go.
in a much more no.
That's not uniting.
Ayanna Pressley clearly says, these are her words, not mine. We don't want any more black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't want any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. Well, you know what? At points in our history, we have had people who have talked about black faces and brown faces to shut up, sit down, and do as they're told. You know who did that? Yes, the grand wizard of the KKK. So, yes, I know that's a little provocative, but that's just the truth of the substance of what she said with her own words.
It's not provocative.
And the reality is, when Hakeem Jeffries said the same thing, when he's comparing Donald Trump to the grand wizard of the KKK, somehow the left-wing media was fine with it. But when I'm using Ayanna Pressley's own words, then there's an issue with it. And that's a double standard, and I will not abide it.
Now, this goes back to the Chuck Todd analysis that I can't believe I'm actually having to reference Chuck Todd's analysis when he said on the Sunday show to Vivek Ramaswamy, it's almost like you're blaming the people who are fighting for justice with the injustices. You're equating the people fighting for justice with the people committing the injustices. Listen in.
Just so you know, consequence of the so-called anti-racist movements. Your argument comes across as blaming those that are trying to create equality for the rise in racism.
Well, the fact is, Chuck, I don't want to be playing a blame game. I want to be going towards a solution.
And then he proceeds to give one of his bad faith arguments that he's, says as quickly as he can and in order to sound more intelligent. But at the core of his arguments is nothing but bad faith comparisons, right? A person who carries out racism cannot be compared to a person fighting against that racism, except for the fact that Ramaswamy is willing to do it. And the only way he's able to get away with it is exactly and precisely because of what Ayanna Pressley said. He is a brown face who does not want to be a brown voice. He does not want to represent the interest of marginalized communities. He does not want to. It's just like Tim Scott. It's just like Byron Donalds. There are always going to be black faces who do the bidding of white supremacy. And Vivek Ramaswamy hates that. He hates the fact that everyone knows that he is nothing more than a brown face for white supremacy. And he's a very effective one, because a white supremacist could not possibly get away with saying the things that Vivek says. That's what he knows. Here's Ayanna Pressley, for her part, responding to Ramaswamy.
The verbal assault lobbied against myself and Dr. Kendi is shameful. It is deeply offensive, and it is dangerous. It is not that long ago that we were besieged by images of white supremacists carrying tiki torches in Charlottesville. It was not that long ago that a white supremacist mob seized the Capitol, waving Confederate flags and erecting nooses on the west lawn of the Capitol. And one of my childhood memories that is deeply embedded in that my own ancestors and living family members have been brutalized, lynched, raped by the Ku Klux Klan. I recall when my family member had moved into a predominantly white cul-de-sac in the 80s when I was a child, and we had a cross burned in our lawn.
Yes, but so it's still totally fair for Vivek to compare you to the person who burned the cross in your lawn. Right? You fighting against the person who burned a cross in your lawn, Ayanna Pressley, is the same as you being the person who burned the cross in your lawn. That's the nature and the thinking, the bad faith argumentation that comes from people like Vivek Ramaswamy. And you know what? Here's the funny thing about it. We're going to get to experience the racism and the anti-blackness of Vivek Ramaswamy for a little while longer because he is the most effective racist on that platform. But it's coming around the corner real soon is a come to Jesus moment, so to speak, because the white evangelicals who absolutely adore his racism have already made it clear that they really want nothing to do with him because of his religion. So I'm going to enjoy him having to come to terms with the fact that the very people who are supporting him now because he's anti-black are going to throw him away because he is not Christian, but he is Hindu. And, you know, while I don't have a problem with that, his supporters absolutely do.